everyone, I'm April and today we'll be doing a half Asian makeup tutorial, and this is basically my everyday sort of natural look that I do for work. And we'll get started right now. I've got a clear face on, no makeup, nothing. As you can see, I do not have perfect skin. I have had problem skin, I have blemishes, and I still do get acne here and there. So first we'll start off with under eye concealer. And this is the It Cosmetics by Under Eye. I use medium, light medium. That's what it's called on the back. You can see that. Alright, so basically I'll just get some of this and put it underneath my eyes. And I let it warm up here for a few seconds. And I'll kind of dab it around any other sort of redness spots that I've got. Just because it also works as a nice overall concealer as well. Alright. Okay. So next I use the Lancome, this is the foundation that I use. And I use it in Ivory Neutral 140. If I had to pick like one makeup item to splurge on, this is the one that I would pick, just because the drugstore foundations, they always don't seem to match my undertones very well. They tend to do more like orangey or pinker or warmer, cooler undertones. It's very hard to get that neutral undertone to match. So for me, this is my favorite. I just use a beauty blender. I did make it a little damp beforehand just so it doesn't soak up as much and this can last longer. And also this is very full coverage, so it'll kind of make it a little bit less heavy if you make this a little bit damp. Sometimes I don't make it damp if I want that sort of look. So I just put some on here. And for a minute or two, I'll just put it all over my face from the nose going out. Okay, so once the foundation's all blended in, I like to go back over blemishes with this concealer. It's Makeup Forever, but it's rubbed off on the top. And this is shade number 4. It's kind of a neutral sort of beige-ish tone. And I like it because it actually does what it says, so it is full coverage. So I just put some on the end of this, and then just dab over anything I want to cover up more. I'm not a huge fan of like freckles or moles, so I'll go back over mine. And the reason why I wanted to make this video was I was looking up half Asian makeup tips, and there's some out there, but I feel like a lot of it it's kind of limited actually. And even growing up, there wasn't a whole lot out there. Even like in magazines, there would be like Caucasian makeup, like a blonde girl, maybe like a brunette, and then say African American girl or Latina makeup tips, and once in a while there'd be an Asian girl, but even then there was no half Asian. So I think it's nice to have a little bit more representation of everybody. And yeah, like now we have YouTube, so it's awesome, because back then I only had AOL free trial CDs, which led me to nowhere but chatting with my friends on there. So, okay. So I think we're good on there. And we'll move on to eyes. What I like to use for eyeshadow for every day is this Tarte's Protego palette. It's really pretty. For work, I kind of keep it kind of boring, conservative. I use this color right here. It's just a light brown. I think any light brown will work. And then I just use like a small eyeshadow fluffy brush, and I just put it in here, and then I put on the edges of my eyelids, so on the edge going inward like that. And I do like the other colors a lot for nighttime. I just work in a more conservative place, so I have to keep it toned down a bit. I do wear uniform every day, so I'm in the Air Force, so I just have to, I don't want a super done look, so that's why I just do one of these and then call it good. Alright, so we're good with that. And then I like to kind of brighten up my eyes a little bit, so I'll put a little bit of actually highlighter on the inner corners of my eyes. And I really like this Dior palette. And again, this is a really nice splurge. The white one I like to put on the inner corners of my eyes. You could use a eyeshadow brush again, but if I want it to stand out a little bit more, I'll use one of these thingies and then just tap it in here and then put it on. It helps if you look up a little bit. I feel like it catches on somehow. And then just again on the other side. So it's just something to brighten up your eyes a little bit. Okay. Next is eyeliner. This is the one I'm using right now. It came in an Ipsy bag. It's okay. It has a little bit of glitter in it, which I don't like. It's called Lock-It, actually, waterproof eyeliner. But I typically use like a CoverGirl or Maybelline one that you just kind of twist up, like in a black color. And I just do the upper lid water line because my eyelash line's already pretty dark, so I just do the waterline. But if you want to do the eyelash line too, that's cool too, but I'm going to go over it with liquid eyeliner. So I'm actually looking upwards even if it looks like my eyes are closed. Next is liquid eyeliner, and I use this one, Revlon. It's just in black. I use the thick one. I'm not a big fan of the thin one. I feel like you lose a little bit of control with that. And then I just unscrew it and then take off the excess. And I start in the middle of my upper lash line and then I work inward to the corner and then I go back out, and then I do that kind of again from the outer corner. And I don't do a crazy cat eye again. Not going for like that kind of cat eye sort of look during the day. I just follow along the lash line and then I kind of call it good once I get almost toward the end here. Alright, so we'll do the other side. Okay, done with eyeliner. And then next, we'll move on to contouring. So for my contouring palette, I just use this. It's the NYX palette. It's in the medium shade called 2. So double date, that's what it's called. And I just get this on Amazon because it's really hard for me to find in CVS's. And I don't touch the white side. I only use the brown shade that's in here. I like it because it's a grayish tone and you don't get any of that orangey craziness. It looks like a legit shadow it creates on your face. And the brush I use, I would recommend something that's kind of sturdy, where it's not too flopping all over sort of brush. You want something more sturdy that isn't super thick, so you still get some sort of a chiseled look. So I just tap it in here, and I start with my jaw. So just go along your jawline. It's going to look a little crazy because contouring does until it all comes together, but don't worry about it. So I make like a L shape at the edge of my jaw here. I'm kind of more oval shaped, so I want to get that more chiseled look that, you know, all those like models have, and like Angelina Jolie kind of has that look, so a little more sunken in sort of cheekbone look. I feel like I have enough like, I don't know, cheeks where I just want a little more chiseled look. So with this, I want to go on the upper part of my cheekbone just so I can make it look like make my cheekbones pop a little bit more. And I kind of start here and then I would go in and then I tap and then I kind of blend it a little bit right now too. And do the other side. And then if I'm wearing a strapless top or something that's like strappy, like spaghetti strap, I'll actually take some of this and I'll contour my collarbones as well. You want to be careful if it's like a white top, you don't want to get makeup all over it. But I'll actually go like this so that my collarbones, it looks like I have more defined bone structure that way. and it makes you look a little bit skinnier than you may actually be, which is it's always a nice benefit. And then just blend a little bit more. And then now we'll contour my nose. So for that, make sure you use kind of a sturdier sort of small brush so that you can create actual lines on your nose. So again, just use the brown one and then make a V on the tip of your nose, like so. And then it'll turn more into like a M with the edges of your nostrils. And then at the top, go into your underbrow bone where it connects to your nose area, and then start wider and then go inward. So the purpose of this is just to make your nose look a little bit more slimmer, because I tend to have a more like wider sort of nostrils. I just want to make it, the overall look more streamlined, like straighter, narrower. And yeah, my nose is smaller, it's like smaller bridge, but I just want it to look a little bit like slimmer. And then you want to do some horizontal lines that I kind of end up chopping off part of my nostril here, but it'll make it all look better in the end. And then from these lines that you drew, kind of go down, so like you're making the shadow. Okay, and then sometimes if I want my bottom lip to look more full, I'll just throw some right here. But we'll do lips. Okay, done with contouring. All right, so next is bronzer. So for bronzer, I like to use Bare Minerals Warmth. I just feel like it gives me that glow, like I've actually been out on the beach, like in Mexico or something. And just use a big fluffy brush for that. So, I just want to get some of this, and then tap some in here. Sometimes I'll just put some on the back of my hand when there's too much, because I don't want to look scary. So I'll always start with my hairline area and then brush into the hair, so it looks like this is actually how I actually glow. So you want to outline your face and then also kind of chisel the cheekbones and jawline as well. And also make sure that your neck skin color matches your face so you don't look like a crazy like Oompa Loompa lady or whatever. That's one thing I always make sure of. And then I think it's always good to like brush upwards. Everything you always want to apply upwards motion, because that's like what Kim Kardashian does or demands. But apparently it's worked for her. Okay, so now we're done with bronzer, and I'll move on to highlighter. So for highlighter, again, we're gonna go back to the Dior palette, and I pretty much only use two shades in this thing. So I use the gold one and the white one. I really like the gold. I'll start with that. It's a really nice, kind of creamy sort of color. Reminds me of like J-Lo or something. So I just put that on the top of the cheekbones. And then I go over it with the white one. And then I might throw some on the jawline. And voila. I'm not a big blush person. Once in a while I do use it, but every day I just don't use it because it's just too many things with contour and bronzer and highlighter. I feel like a fourth thing on my cheeks would just be a little overwhelming. It might work for you, but for me, for every day, it's just not what I do. So from there, I like to move on to eyebrows. So we'll do that. So the one that I use is this Brow Affection that I got from European Wax Center, and it's got 2 different shades in here. I use the cooler brown shade. There's like a reddish brown too, but I just don't touch that one. I use the cooler brown with this little tiny brush that they gave me there also. I think any sort of angled eyebrow brush should work. Okay. So for eyebrows, you want to make the outer tip probably the darkest part, and then work your way inward. And my eyebrows are a little short, so I like to lengthen them or extend them out toward my temple just a little bit more than my actual hair goes. Okay, awesome. And then do the other side. And then I like to go over it with this brow mascara from Maybelline, Brow Precise. And this is soft brown. So I just like to kind of comb it out vertically and make it a little bit lighter in color. Okay, so eyebrows are done. Next, I like to actually just kind of smudge in this contouring and make it all look good. So I'll get this blender again and just kind of blend it all in a little bit more. Okay, so next I like to do my lip liner, and I actually use this lip stain from CoverGirl, and I don't remember the shade color of it, but it's like a bubblegum pinkish color, and I just like the stain because I don't have anything glossy or anything crazy, and it stays pretty much all day. So I just like to line the lips, starting with a V at the Cupid's bow. And work your way out and around. And smudge it in with your finger a little bit so you don't have that like 90s lip liner look, unless if that's what you're going for, but I typically don't go for that every day. And then you can actually color it in too a little bit if it's not smudging. Alright, next is mascara. So I'll be using It Superhero Mascara. It's just black. I like it a lot. Or actually it's in super black. This is the other mascara that I like a lot, L'Oreal Manga. It's also definitely another favorite that I have. So I have long lashes naturally, but they are kind of thin. So this one thickens them up, which I really like. And I don't curl my lashes just because I feel like they kind of yank on them too much for everyday things. But if it's a special occasion, I'll definitely blow dry it, make it hot, and then test it out on my wrist when it's the right temperature, and then I'll curl them, which really makes your eyelashes pop. But I feel like I don't really need it every day. But if you want to be a little extra, then I totally recommend it. And I start at the base and go outward, and then I kind of alternate eyes so that one sets a little bit and then I put another layer on. Okay, so we're good with mascara, and these are my real lashes. I do get asked a lot if I have fake lashes or implants, but no, they're my lashes, thankfully. That's the one thing I do like about myself, so if you have a favorite feature, I definitely recommend making that part stand out. And actually, to finish it up, I like to just go back over with the bronzer brush. I didn't add anything to it, but it was just kind of blend everything in a bit. And actually, we are done with the makeup. So at this point, I usually put on my jewelry then, and then maybe like a spray of perfume or something. And this is how I do my makeup every day. If it's not for work or something, I may add a lip stain, which actually I can do that right now. So this is my favorite lip stain. It's by MAC, and it's actually not a lip stain. It's a gel blush called Just a Pinch. So I really like this shade. It's just like a nice sort of light reddish shade. And I just apply it with my fingers, and it comes out kind of pink berry-ish almost. Okay, so that's it. That's the half Asian everyday makeup look that I use. If you have any questions or anything, please put a comment below, or like it if you like this, or dislike it if you hated it. But hopefully you picked up something from it. Thank you guys so much.